Hey guys, welcome to Devlog number 8. So jumping straight into this, one of the main things I've been working on recently has been the UI animations. So this includes the animations for the start menu as well as the in-game pause menu. But in the future this will include a lot more, such as a level complete pop-up when you finish the level, and maybe your time and or a medal popping up after the level. So jumping straight into Unity here, I'll show you the animations and how they work. So as you can see, when you switch between levels, the currently active level gets pushed off to the left and the new menu gets pulled in from the left. So this is just basic transforms to push them off screen and pull in the correct menu on screen. And then jumping into the level, the pause menu drops down from the top, as you can see, and then when you close it, it exits back up to the top. I also added a pop-up for when you set a key on the keybind, so you press a set button to set a key and it will pop up saying press this key, as you can see. So these are all basic animations, and initially I had my own system set up where I would pull and push them around on my own using a custom script, and it just controlled stuff like scale and position. But I found out about a tool called Tween, and this basically lets you do all of that just a lot simpler and only calls it when you need it. And it can also be used for in-game items, which I kind of plan on going back and doing, so I'll show you quickly in the code here how that works. So one of the benefits of using this Tween tool is that you don't have to set up custom coroutines or enumerators for waiting for certain animations or setting time for animations. So within my menu controller I have a method called load start, and this is what's called when I want the home page or the start menu to be pulled up on screen. So within this it's got two Tween codes. First one moves the current page off the screen to the left -900, and then the second one will move the start menu onto the page over to the right over to 51, which is where I want it. And then the numbers after that are seconds of how long the animation should take. So I've set this to 1/4 of a second, so it goes pretty fast. So looking down the script, I've set this up for each of the buttons or methods, so load options and load level select. It will move the current page off the screen, move the page we want on screen, and then it sets the current page to the one that's on the screen, so it's ready to be moved off when you change to a different menu. So I could have, or I did, make a system that essentially did all of this myself, except it used multiple scripts and was more complicated to get your head around. And realistically, if the resources are there to be used, I think it's worth using them. Which is also why within Unity, I use the virtual cameras with Cinemachine, because it's just so much simpler and easier, and you don't have to spend loads of time writing custom scripts. I would recommend you understand how it works on the back end and potentially coming up with your own method before switching to this. But I've known people in the past that have looked down on stuff like this and stuff like Cinemachine, and they say, oh, you should write it all yourself. But realistically, there's no need if the tools are there. You know, you could say the same thing about Unity, you should write your own engine. Obviously not, so I think if the tools are there, I'm going to use them definitely. So one other thing I did was add the ability for more than one jump. So jumping into the game, as you can see, we can only jump once initially, but I've added the option to increase that. So if we pull up the player on the left, you'll see under the movement script that there's a option called number of jumps. This refers to the number of extra jumps on top of the original one jump that you get that your player's allowed to make. So if I set this to 1, that will now allow us to double jump. As you can see, if I set it to say 10, now we can essentially jump 11 times. That was just a little something I added, I guess. Let's jump into the script and I'll quickly show you how that was done. So within the movement script, within fixed update, it's as you should control the physics within fixed and input within update. So in the fixed update, when jump is true, it adds the velocity and sets jump to false. So you're only jumping once, but it also adds one to the jumps category. Now jumps obviously records the number of jumps. If we go into where it gets the input, firstly, if you're grounded, it resets the jumps to 0 because you haven't jumped if you're grounded. And then it checks if you're pressing the jump key and if the number of jumps is currently greater than the number that you have jumped. And obviously, if that's true, then your player will jump. But it also checks if you're pressing jump and you're currently grounded, and that's what gives you the first jump. So the main problem I had with this was when you would go to jump, it would still think you're grounded for a small amount of time, which would then reset your jumps and you'd essentially get an extra jump. So that's why the number of jumps, the way I've done it, is number of jumps on top of the initial jump. So it just ensures that the number of times you've jumped is less than the number of jumps that you have. And when it gets to the maximum amount, you obviously can't jump anymore, you'll become grounded and jumps will reset. Jumping back into the game, another little thing that I fixed, which you might have picked up last time, is now you can actually jump up through the longer platforms, not just the smaller platforms. But I also added the ability to jump sideways up through them, so now you're not getting caught on the sides of them. This was pretty basic. I just changed the 2D effector for the platform, changed the angle to 125 instead of 180. So the 180 was essentially blocking the sides. I guess any number under that will do. I found 125 was good within my testing. There's also been quite a bit done between the levels select back end to make sure that the levels are correctly being handled within the menus, but I won't show that today. I've already shown most of that and it was just fixing it up. And then I've also been spending time on more artwork, which again I won't show here. So within my current plan, I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks hopefully completing most of the mechanics for the game. And then I'm going to do what I want to call Art Week, or maybe Art Fortnight. And I'm going to be just spending the whole time doing game art, coming up with concepts, design, loads of player models, different designs for upgrades and skins and stuff like that. And I'm hoping to do a video a day showing the progress over that probably 7-day week and show 10-15 minute time lapses of what I've been working on that day, and I think that'll be a really fun thing to do and will kickstart the art with the game, because currently I've barely done any on it and I'm struggling to get started and then wanting to jump back into finishing the mechanics. So I think it would be good to do all of that in one big chunk, so look forward to that probably around the 12th of October. That just about wraps this up. We hit 20 subs earlier in the week, so thanks for that guys. Let's go for 30 or 50. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe and remember to leave a comment down below if you want any help with anything that I've shown within this video. My email's in the description as well, which I'll always be sure to reply to people on. I'm looking at releasing a video this Friday as a tutorial on effectors within Unity 2D, and then another devlog on Saturday. So be sure to subscribe so you get notified for them. Thanks for watching.